Lace up your skates, fasten your chin strap, hit the ice, drop the puck. The Johnstown Tomahawks present Hockey Central. Now here's your host, Troy Roberts.
Always my pleasure to welcome in Coach Mike Letizia of the Johnstown Tomahawks. Coach, good weekend, and the season is winding down. A lot of things going on, but how are you doing on this, snowy Tuesday?
Doing all right. We actually had a day off today of practice. It was something we already had scheduled, so it kind of worked out well in a way. We practiced yesterday, had a good practice, and had a day off today as kind of just get some things back in order. We had some guys sick and different things like that, so just kind of recharging the batteries and getting the locker room disinfected, if you would, and it actually was kind of decent timing with all the snow and want to keep the guys safe. So we'll get back at it tomorrow and Thursday in preparation for Friday. So hopefully it doesn't get any worse out there. Right now it didn't seem to be as bad as they may have predicted, but in this area of the country, you never know what could happen every 20 minutes with weather. So who knows? Yeah,
especially, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. Down by you guys, it's even different from where I live up in Latrobe. I mean, it's pretty much, okay, it's flurrying out now, and it may come down a lot later, but it's going to be pretty constant where I'm at. Where you guys are at, like you said, literally within the hour, it could go from clear to blizzard snowstorm, clear up, go back to blizzard snowstorm. You guys are just in that crazy pattern. You're like on that corner borderline when you watch the weather, and you see where it says 8 to 12, and then on the other side 3 to 6. You guys are like literally right there in the middle of that, both sides. So who knows what will happen?
Yeah, it seems to be always like, it could go this way, it could go that way, and you always hope you get the less of it, but you got to prepare for the worst sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, so now, Coach, you're winding down the season. 10 points behind Aston, 4 games left with them. I mean, mathematically still alive. You're not eliminated from first place yet. I mean, it'll take a lot of wins, 4 wins against Aston, and some help from other teams, but still possible. And so when you look at this, I mean, you got Aston coming up. I mean, is the guys' mindset? I know it's game at a time, but are you just consistently saying, look, this is possible, I guess, to your staff and saying this is what we got to do? How are you keeping that division title alive?
Well, I think the pride of it, you obviously want to win your division anytime you can. You want to have that home ice advantage throughout the playoffs, or at least throughout your divisional playoffs, and the opportunity to do so is still available. We had tough games against them last week when we lost in overtime and then lost 3-2, and those were games that could have helped close the gap a little bit, but unfortunately, like I said, you can never go back and change things. You can only try to fix what's coming up in front of you. So, we took 2 out of 3 in New Jersey on the road over the weekend, despite some circumstances where we didn't have a full lineup at all. I mean, I couldn't honestly tell you the last time we had what we would consider to be, our regular lineup, between injuries, multiple suspensions, sicknesses. I mean, just a whole lot of everything, but credit to this team. They've found ways, and different guys have stepped up in different ways that, maybe we talked about before, that don't always get the fanfare or the press, but then, when a game's in the line and there's an opportunity for a big moment, they've been able to step up and, make plays or, score shootout goals or whatever it may be and help this team win. And, it's what you need, and you need everybody to contribute in some way, no matter what it is. And, with the amount of man games we've had lost to pretty much everything, I've been proud of the guys and them understanding and believing that, whatever the adversity is, no matter what's in your way, you got to get through it together, and you got to look past it and then hopefully knock it down in front of you and find a way to succeed. And, that's what we're trying to do. And obviously, like you said, the hill to climb is a little bit big one with Aston in front of us, but definitely not something that's, impossible. So, this weekend's going to be big for us.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge weekend. So, Coach, at the end of the year, you always want to be playing your best hockey going into the playoffs. And so from the outside looking in as the fans, if you can give them kind of an update, health-wise, roster-wise, how is the roster looking here as you try to finish up the season? As you go in, playing well is going to be key, but health-wise also is going to be important too. Like you said, guys are stepping up, but as far as the roster goes and overall health of the guys, how does the roster look?
It's still missing a few pieces of the puzzle. Tommy Horn's been out for going on a month now. He's been injured, and it's something that you're just hoping one day is going to be enough for Tommy to be ready to go. And then Tommy's a warrior, so if it's keeping him on the lineup, it's something that is impossible for anybody to play with. So we're hoping to get him back at some point soon. We cleaned up the guys from the suspensions that were in New Jersey. We got an unfortunate call over the weekend, this weekend in New Jersey actually, and Dalton Hunter will be out Friday's game. He'll be back Saturday. And then Phillips Buncis will be gone until the last weekend of the regular season, for a very good reason. I mean, he's been invited to the Latvia prep camp for the World Championships, which take place in the middle to the end of May, and it's a very prestigious thing for Phillips. Bob Hartley, who was an NHL coach, is the coach of that team now, and after Phillips' performance at the World Juniors, he wanted him to come and try for a spot on that team. And for fans who don't know, that the World Championships is basically an end of the season, or I guess the NHL season, so to speak, international tournament where players from the NHL who are not in the playoffs, maybe get eliminated early in the playoffs, travel typically overseas to participate in this World Championships to play for their country. And it's there's some pretty outstanding players. I mean, names that are superstars in the NHL that go over there and play for their countries for this tournament. So obviously Phillips is going there for the prep camp for the next few weeks. So he'll miss basically our next 3 weeks of games, and then he'll return for the playoffs. And then hopefully he'll be here for as long as our playoff run is. So hopefully it's, to the Robertson Cup. And then, once that's over, he'll return if things go well for him and play for Latvia. So, I mean, the kid has just been remarkable in the international competition he's been able to play for his country in and show well in. And this is just another feather in his cap to be able to do this. And, the opportunity for him is unbelievable. And obviously, for our organization as a whole, we couldn't be happier for him. But again, it's another situation where players are going to have to step up. He's the captain. He's one of our best players. There's no questions about that. And so just an opportunity for other guys to step up and fill his shoes and get some wins while he's not with us.
Yeah, and you had mentioned Phillips, and it is great for Johnstown Hawkey to have a player of that caliber getting that recognition. There's other big news about Phillips too, and I'll let you break that to the fans.
Yeah, it was great news actually. It was Friday night of last week. Phillips made a Division I commitment to Arizona State University for next year. He received a very substantial, opportunity to play at ASU. They are the newest Division I hockey program in the NCAA, and they'll be going into their third year as a Division I program, and they made huge strides last year. Or the season that just ended, their second year, they made big strides as far as what they could do on the ice. They beat a lot of top 10 teams. They're really starting to become being able to build a tradition towards being one of the premier Division I programs in the country, hopefully. And they've expressed interest in Phillips throughout the year. They expressed it even bigger at Top Prospects, along with numerous other programs, big time programs as well. And Phillips made a quick visit out there last week in the beginning part of the week and loved what he saw and, liked the coaching staff a great bit. So there's a lot of opportunity for him to go there and have an immediate impact. And they believe a kid like him is what they want to help build their tradition of their program for the future, for the present and the future, obviously. But, getting a kid like him, not just a hockey player, but a human being like that, is outstanding for their foundation. And obviously he's meant the world to our program here for the last 2.5 seasons that he's been with us, and we couldn't be prouder. We have a lot of guys that I believe are Division I players, and I think Dalton and Phillips were the first names from this year that made decisions, and I think there's definitely more to come. And just part of the experience of junior hockey is being able to make that decision. And Arizona State, not a bad place to go play hockey, especially when you look outside and you see almost a foot of snow, and you think that they probably have 85 degrees and weather and flip-flops on right now in March. But like I said, great day for the Tomahawks, and obviously for Phillips and his family.
Yeah, sure. And I was going to joke, Coach. I'm like, well, yeah, he went out there, and after leaving here, he probably, as soon as he got off the plane, said, hey, yeah, give me a scholarship, please. I want to get out of that crazy cold weather. But you also have some ties out to the Arizona area, what you were telling me. But, Coach, I want to ask this about Phillips' decision. I'm sure that you had given him some input. And you talk about a program, and maybe this is surprising to some people that he goes to a program that isn't as well developed as some of these big-time programs. But when you look at a player of his caliber and being able to go to a program, he's going to get to see a lot of ice time in a program like this, whereas if he goes to a bigger-time program, he may have to earn his keep for a little bit and maybe a year or two trying to, get his ice time, take advantage of it. But from what I'm hearing is that he's going to have an opportunity as a freshman to get a lot of ice time.
Yeah, like I said, there were plenty of large programs that put a lot of interest into him and significant opportunities as well. And, again, when you get there, you earn what you get. There's no guarantees, just like there's no guarantees in our team, and really there's no guarantees in life. It's what you make of it and what you earn. But, he really felt strongly about the opportunity to be part of building a tradition, and I think that speaks to his character and his leadership, to understand, what he wanted. And they expressed, that they really wanted him. And that was, they made no mistake about it. They told him what they wanted, how they felt. They really, made the kid feel that he was special. And that's, that means a lot when someone really wants you. And, the opportunity is, should be there for him, and I think he's the kid that's going to thrive at that. He's going to thrive at the next level because, there's even more resources to develop your game at the next level. When you have all the opportunity that the university can provide is amazing. And don't get me wrong. ASU right now, they look at their schedule last year. I think they played almost every team in the top 5, top 10 last year. They played Denver, North Dakota, Penn State. The teams that were just the top teams in college hockey. So they're playing everybody quality. So when you play those programs, you're going to be up for the biggest challenge of the season, and you're also going to have a ton of eyes on you, NHL scouts and things like that. So the competition is great for them. And like you said, they're just starting up, but look at Penn State. They just started up a couple of years ago, and they were ranked number 1 for a while this year, and they're one of the best teams in all of college hockey. So when you have a program that's willing to invest into a university that's willing to invest in the hockey program, and then you recruit good players, but more importantly, good people like Phillips, it might not take as long as you think to get your program to the top.
Yeah, and like I was joking, well, I wasn't really joking with you. When you go out to visit, make sure that you hit me up there and say, hey, you want to go down to Arizona and watch Phillips play, especially if we're talking January. I'm on. I'm there. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you said, a couple commitments already, more to come, and it's the end of the season, so it's an exciting time, Coach. And as we look forward, we didn't really talk about this last weekend, but you went out, you took 2 of 3. How important is it to, and we've talked about this before, but at the end of the season to be able to go out, I know you would have loved to get 3 out of 3, but you ultimately won the series. How important is it for the guys to keep building off that from week to week now with only a handful of games to go?
Well, yeah, we would have loved to take 3 wins last week. I don't think anybody would argue that Thursday wasn't our best game. Just didn't have a whole lot of flow to it for us. We didn't really have a whole lot of energy. I don't really know what it was. Just one of those things that it just wasn't us. And we were still close in the game. There's no doubt about it. We just didn't really have it going. And, so we just kind of simplified things a little bit on Friday. And, even our first period on Friday wasn't all that great, but we popped that first goal in the second period. I think it kind of gave us a little bit of spark, a little bit of, jolt to our lineup. And, it was tight one of the things where we got to leave. He kept giving it up a little bit, just some plays, and going into the overtime there, we started 3-on-3, and we ended up being shorthanded for basically almost the entire overtime. We got a 5-minute penalty, so but we killed it off, really impressively. Nick Bruce, Donovan Ott stepped up huge up front and basically killed off the whole penalty. And actually, Brucey got a breakaway, from it. So you don't expect that to happen. You don't expect it to go down like that. You look at the clock with that much time left in overtime, and you're just hoping the guys can sacrifice and make it happen. And then we did. It was unbelievable, to be honest with you. And then we got in this shootout, and Josh Norman, who won a shootout for us a couple weeks ago, goes in, scores the first goal in the shootout. Beautiful move. Adam Pilowitz won it, 2 shooters later. And, just one of those things, again, where you get guys stepping up. And I think, in that game we had, I think we had a goal from, 5 different guys than the shootout winner. So that's what you need. And then Saturday, I think, was actually our best game of the weekend. And the shots looked a little bit misleading, in my opinion. I don't think they outshot us that bad, or if they were, it was, not really the greatest chances. But not taking anything from Drew. I mean, Drew played awesome in that game. But, we took it to him pretty good, and the guys were a little bit, played with a little chip on their shoulder that game. I think we were, ready to show them, that you still got to go through us, to get where you want to go. So credit to our guys, in a tough game. And like I said, we were shorthanded again, and 3-3, and we played well. So now it's good momentum, but now it's turn the pages and get ready for Aston, and what they're all about. We know the battle we have with them throughout the entire season, and we know what opportunity might be in front of us. So be ready to go Friday night.
Yeah, I want to just finish up here. Two quick thoughts, Coach. You had mentioned being shorthanded in overtime, and I know most of the people that listen to our podcast are hockey fans. They understand the overtime rules, the 3-on-3. But I want to ask you this personally. For me, you go shorthanded, you take a penalty in overtime, Coach. What is your thought process? I mean, that's not normally something that you're planning for, that, oh, my God, I'm shorthanded in overtime, already 3-on-3, and they add a guy, make it 4-on-3. But what is the mindset, and how do you talk to the guys, especially you were saying a 5-minute penalty? So as a coaching staff, what are you portraying to the guys on the bench? What is the goal? Are you just trying to kill that son of a gun off and hope that you guys can get to the shootout? What is the mindset on the bench when that penalty's called, both coaching staff and player-wise?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. It obviously was one of those where it kind of takes the wind out of you a little bit. You're starting your 3-on-3 overtime, which you get, hey, you know what, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a little wild, and you hope you can take your chances with some of the guys you have to get a win, and then you put yourself down, and especially when it's that long. 2-minute penalty or something maybe. Hey, it's not too bad. You get a couple stops, you clear it out, and you might kill the whole thing off. But when it's pretty much the entire overtime, and the other thing too, in overtime is you switch ends, so the change is longer. So it becomes that much more crucial when you're blocking shots or clearing pucks and trying to make line changes. And like I said, it was one of those things where, and I give the boys credit because they stepped up and they kind of came together and said, look, we're going to kill this off. Let's do what we got to do here. And, penalty killing is a thankless job. It's one of those things that you got to have a lot of sacrifice in your body, and you got to pay the price to do. And it's not always the prettiest thing in the world, but you got to be willing to do whatever you can. And, I'm serious. Like, I think I don't know if we really gave up many shots. The guys that were out there really, really wanted it. And I give them all the credit in the world, because that wasn't an easy task to do. And like we said, we just need to do whatever we can to kill this thing off. Any chance we can to clear the puck down the length of the ice, we have to do it. And you got to have the willpower and the pride to stop this thing. And then, like we said, we got it to the shootout, and we were fortunate to win.
And then moving forward now, you mentioned Aston, played him a number of times. There's nothing new and exciting, no new wrinkles that are going to come up at this point, Coach. It's just a matter of lacing up the skates, going out and playing your game, and taking it to them. Or am I missing something there for the weekend?
No, I mean there's no secrets between our two teams. I mean, like I said, we've been rivals since they joined our division. It's been a good rivalry. It's been skill. It's been physical. It's been nasty at times. It's been pressure packed. It's a big challenge. There's every play, has some pressure to it. But those are the games you want to be in. I mean, as a player, I would hope you'd want to be in the games where every play matters so much, and you have that responsibility to be at your best. And we know we play them, and you have to be. I think I talked about it last week. It's every play matters so much. A chance to put a puck in the net, it's got to go in. A chance to make a play, get a pass, receive a pass, get pucks deep, block shots, defend. Be disciplined. Everything adds up. In those situations. I mean, they're right now, I think they're the top team in our league, based upon points, and rightfully so. They've done a nice job. They have a deep team. They have four lines that can play. They have a solid defensive group, and obviously they have good goaltending. So they have all the pieces, and like I said, so every game against them is always going to be a big one. And at this point in the season, they're all big, and so we're approaching it. We're happy to have it at home as well. We've played them the last 4 games on the road, and we haven't played them at home since our home opener in November. So looking forward to playing them on our ice and hopefully use our arena and our crowd and our energy to our advantage.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. So anyone listening in before Friday night, make sure you get down to the War Memorial, cheer on the boys. I believe I heard Mitchell join us. Mitchell, was that you that joined in?
Yes, that is me.
All right, Mitchell. Well, I appreciate you rearranging your time due to some conflicts that I had, but pleasure to have you on the show. So I want to ask everybody the same question. What does it mean to be a Johnstown Tomahawk, and what has it meant to you?
It definitely means a lot. Didn't really know coming in much about the league or the organization, but being here now, I realize that, probably one of the best organizations in the league to be in. Great hockey town fans, coach, even great teammates to have.
And you guys, are sitting here at the end of the season. Already clinched a playoff spot, which is great. Clinched that playoff spot. Geez, Coach, seems like eons ago that you guys have clinched this playoff spot. But a lot to play for here at the end of the season, Mitchell. As a player, it's been a long season. I know you guys started the season off with that long road trip, no home games, then you had a bunch of home games. But now everything's in the rearview mirror, and you got just a handful of games left. I'm sure your body is a little bit sore, emotionally maybe drained a little bit. How do you get yourself up every day, not only for practice but for the games, week in and week out? Anything special you do here at the end, or is it just the excitement of playoff hockey coming up?
I mean, definitely exciting. Looking forward to playoff hockey. You want to bring a championship to Johnstown, you definitely got to take care of your body, get good amount of sleep, drink fluids, and eat healthy, and just buckle down and do the right things towards the end. Look back early in your career and realize why you wanted to play hockey your whole life, and it gives you the motivation every morning to get up and back to the rink for practice.
Sure. So you had joined us, and you had heard me say about Coach, just lace up the skates and get out and play against Aston. You guys know each other so well. When you look at this game, Mitchell, as a player, there shouldn't be any reason to have to try to pump somebody else up or get yourself pumped up. It's a huge game this weekend. But when you look at, going out to play against Aston, what are some of the things that, you go out and, as you prepare for, what are you getting ready for this weekend as far as taking on Aston, knowing that they're one slot ahead of you in the standings? But how do you prepare for the weekend against a very good team?
Usually I just keep doing the same thing. I try to think of it as another game, but when the time comes where you step foot on the ice, nothing else really matters, and you keep things simple, and you don't worry about who you're playing. You go do what the game plan is, and usually the game plan ends up helping us out to win.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to go back, and I had talked to Coach about last weekend and, being shorthanded in overtime. As a player, I want to get your thoughts. You're looking at this being shorthanded in overtime, and, when as a player, what's going through your mind? Is it like, hey, I just got to kill this off, we just got to get through this? Or is there more emotion like, yeah, let's take on this challenge and let's get out there and go?
Yeah, definitely wasn't something we were expecting to happen in overtime, but we battled a lot of adversity through the year, and it was just another task at hand. And I know I was on the bench trying to keep everyone positive and keep the boys going, and because we got a great penalty kill and got lots of guys that blocked shots, and I was confident that we were going to get the win there.
Yeah, you guys, special teams, Coach. It's funny because we kind of shied away from that, Coach. In the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about maybe the penalty kill was an Achilles heel, and slowly doing a little bit better on special teams. That's why I haven't brought it up. So knock on wood. Sorry to bring that up, Coach. Don't blame me if it goes awry this weekend, please.
I'm going to blame you.
You notice we haven't talked about it in a long time. But, Mitchell, if I'm an opposing coach and I'm scouting your game, in your words, tell me what are your really strong points when you're on the ice, and what are some of the things that you think you need to work on, moving forward as a hockey player?
I would definitely think that opposing coaches would say I play like a heavy game, going in the corners, hitting people, getting to the front of the net, blocking shots. Just the guy you don't want to play against is what I would say other coaches would think about me. And things I would have to work on would be being more consistent. But lately, as I've been getting used to the league, I've been thinking that's coming more easy to me, being consistent out there on the ice. So
now, I want to throw this out there for the fans. You had brought up something, and I think the fans are like, you're going to be part of the Johnstown Tomahawks. You're going to come in, you're going to play hockey. It's hockey, But you had mentioned kind of that period of getting used to the league, getting used to your surroundings. From a player standpoint, explain to the fans what you mean by that, because, a lot of them are probably thinking, you're signed to play with the Tomahawks. You're just going to go play hockey. But as an athlete, making changes, going to organizations, going into leagues, there is that little bit of period where you do have to make an adjustment. What do you mean by that when you say, hey, I'm getting more comfortable now? Just let the fans know, in your words, what that means.
Yeah, so like for a rookie like me, I've always been at home, and moving away from home, living with a billet family, getting used to the faster pace of hockey against older kids, and just the preparation for every weekend game and stuff like that. It's just a lot different, and sometimes it gets to you, but as long as you tough it out and stick to the game plan and do the right things, that eventually things come out right way for you. So
when you look at this, Mitchell, and you say you're moving in, getting more comfortable at this point, now as far as you had mentioned too, being on the bench, being more positive, I would imagine that a comfort level for you personally, it allows you just to relax more and be more of a natural leader once all of those, I guess I'll call them butterflies, and changes are more routine now. It probably allows you to be a little bit more comfortable in a leader, correct?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely.
So what are the long-term goals, Mitchell? I know that and Coach always will probably get mad at me, but I asked the question. We got a couple games here. We got playoff hockey. But what's the long-term goal for Mitchell hockey-wise? How do you foresee what you want to do in the future with hockey?
I definitely want to go play Division I hockey somewhere. That's been one of my long-term goals all through life, even in high school when I wasn't thinking about junior hockey much. I'd like to get Division I offer and go play hockey and get an education, hopefully, for less money than I would if I wasn't playing hockey. And my family has supported me my whole way. It was kind of different for them, realizing that, it's going right out of high school to play junior hockey, not going to college. It was kind of an adjustment for them. But there's been ups and downs. As long as you just keep riding that roller coaster upwards and staying positive, it's definitely a goal that I'd like to reach.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mitchell, I think you got a good guy on the other end of this phone that'll be able to help you get to where you want to go. So, Coach, I always turn it back over to you. You look at what Mitchell has brought to the Johnstown Tomahawks this year. What is your assessment? Both things. What does he bring to the Tomahawks that is a big positive, and what are the things you're working on so this guy can continue on to Division I hockey?
Hale plays the game the right way. He plays the game hard. He plays the game fast. He plays the game tough. Like he talked about, he's not afraid to mix it up. He's always going to go hard to the net. He's going to get in the way of the other team. He's going to get under their skin a little bit. At the same time, he's going to be able to make plays. He's really improved over the course of the year, and like he just said, getting the consistency down and adjusting how the game has to be played, at this level. He was a very good midget AAA player, and he was able to make the jump pretty well. I actually think he's been one of our most consistent players all year in the sense of knowing what you're going to get out of him. And I think for his credit, the consistency of his impact on the game has continued to grow throughout the year. And he's like something we can rely on in multiple situations. He kills penalties for us. We can use him on the power play. If that arises, we can know that he's gonna give us his 100% every single shift, every single game. He's stuck up for teammates when needed to. He's been able to give us a spark. He's a guy that I think maybe goes underappreciated at times because he does so many little things that really help the team. He's a great locker room guy, and here's a perfect example is we're in a 2-1 game in New Jersey on the road, shorthanded. In the last minute when we're obviously team right behind us, and he's a rookie and he's out there. And he was out there for the entire last minute of the game, I believe it was, killing the penalty, and with the game on the line, 6-on-4, and we're holding on to 1-goal lead, and there he is, because he's someone that I can count on that's going to do everything he possibly can to help the team, and that's to his credit. So he's been great for a rookie. He's been one of those guys, that group of rookies that has really contributed to our team and been a big part of our success. So really looking forward to what he can do, hopefully, down here for us to the last 9 games into the playoffs, and I think he's only going to continue to get better.
All right, Mitchell, I'm going to have a little bit of fun now. I ask everybody the same question. You're a hockey guy, so we're going to wave the magic wand a little bit. What gets you more excited? And I have no idea where you're going with this, because I think all 3 of these are a possibility. But you can only choose one. Would you rather have a bone-jarring check into the glass anywhere on the ice? I don't care where it is. Would you rather have a one-timer into the back of the net, or would you rather score a breakaway goal 5-hole? What would be the most satisfying one thing that you'd like to do there?
Oh, boy, definitely the bone-jarring hit for me.
Wow. See, I didn't know where you were going to go with that one, but that's a good one. Coach, you agree with that? Mitchell's a big guy. I mean, the stats, the big physical presence. You agree with that one, Coach? The bone-jarring check?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of his game. He's a difference maker in that regard. He's able to change momentum. He's able to put the body on guys. And if you look at a lot of Haler's goals, I mean, they're all within 3 feet of the net. He's going to go hard to the dirty areas. He's going to power his goals in. He's going to bang in rebounds. He's going to make it difficult on the other team. And that's the type of player he is. He's one of those hard-nosed hockey players that you love having on your team.
Well, hey, Mitchell, if you can throw your weight around in front of the goal and then you can get those rebound shots, those, to me, as a longtime hockey guy, I mean, the pretty shots are nice. When the guy lines up, one times it in the back of the net, yeah, the media gets all, ooh, what a great goal, what a great goal. To me, as a longtime hockey fan, the guys that are in front of the net that push their weight around and are in the right position at the right time to get a rebound, those goals are priceless. When you look at it, when you're playing, and now, Coach, you brought that up. Coach, you always do this. You give me questions off the cuff because you bring up something. So, Mitchell, you go in there in front of the net. Your mindset when you're there to get position, what are you thinking? You're like, man, I got to get to the front of the net. I got to play for the rebound. What are you thinking about as a player, and what's going through your mind at that point to be more physical than your counterpart, and you have to win that battle?
Yeah, definitely just like plopping myself right in front of the net and just causing havoc, making defenders turn heads. Maybe then they don't realize the teammate sneaking back door and stuff like that, and then who knows, maybe the defenseman will shoot it, I'll get a tip, turn around, bury the puck and whatnot, and then have the defenseman and the other team all mad, realizing that, oh, this kid was just sitting here in front of the net causing havoc and ended up scoring the goal. So stuff like that.
Yeah, well, Mitchell, I'll ask this question. Do you then agree with me that, people will say, well, you're sitting there, you're waiting for a slot goal, but in reality, like you said, you're doing a lot of work, because even if you don't score, if you can be in the line of vision for the goalie, if you can get the defender off his point, you're actually doing things to benefit everyone else on that team, and then you get rewarded when those goals come. I think you would agree with that and disagree with all those people that say you're just sitting there waiting for goals.
Yeah, I would agree, definitely. Sometimes a lot of people that I would say aren't so familiar with hockey don't realize it, but that guy sitting in front trying to make his teammates better, causing havoc, is definitely someone I would see myself as.
Sure.
And to Mitchell's point, I mean that going to the net is it takes a lot of guts. It's playing hockey and playing it the right way. You got to go to the net. You got to go where you're gonna maybe get whacked and bumped and bruised and not stay on the perimeter. When you go to the net, usually good things happen. And I mean, I think there's a lot of guys in the NHL that have made a living because they're willing to go to those spots, the dirty areas they call them, and not everybody's willing to do it. And when you can, like Mitch said, I mean, you're not only going to cause hopefully problems for the opposition. You're going to help yourself personally, but help your team.
Hey, Coach, and again, I don't want to extend the show too long, but you always bring up great things that make me think and keep my mind racing. For those fans out there,
that's what I'm here for, Troy. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, just gotta keep the show fresh, man.
Yeah, I want to let you keep talking, but I always want to teach the fans that listen, that are maybe casual fans. I watch hockey. I follow hockey. I and you coach it, and Mitchell, you play. When you run those plays for guys in front of the net, I think a lot of times the people like say, "Oh, get the puck to that guy, get the puck to that guy." But that's not the point of running that guy to the net, Coach. Explain to the fans, when you're running forwards or players in front of the net, kind of what the expectation is, because I would imagine you have a number of set plays to go into the net, and what the goal is of that point man. I'll call him the point man, but the guy in front of the goalie that's going to the net, that's getting slashed, that's getting sticks in the calf muscles, jarred in the back, hit in the head, the guy's getting beat up. There is a main purpose to that, not just sending him out there as a dummy, but there is an actual valuable piece to sending that guy to a spot on the ice for the benefit of the team.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a reason you're going there. I mean, obviously, whether it be just, on line rushes into the zone, you want to have a guy driving hard to the net, you want to push the defenseman back, you want to get around the goalie, disrupt his vision, make him uncomfortable. And then, in the zone, you want to have a presence around the net, especially when shots are coming from up top, from the point or from the outside. You got to get in the goalie's way. I mean, goalies are really good these days, and they have big equipment, and they're trained to eat everything up. But it's like anything. I mean, if you can't see what's in your way, I mean, you're not going to be able to see the puck. So you got to get in his vision. You got to be tight on him. You also got to, create diversion, so to speak, with defenders worried about you in front of the net. You might, allow open space in other areas and allow plays to be made. At the same time, you can put pucks in the net. I mean, there's a lot of good things from coming there. And if you watch hockey, I mean, they say good things are happening when you put pucks and bodies to the net. And teams that are struggling to score, they're going to tell you they got to get to the dirty areas more. They got to get to the net more. They got to go there and score some goals that, maybe aren't the dazzlers, but they're the ones that count. They all count the same. And, the puck's got to go into the net somehow. So if you're around the net, you probably have a little bit likelier chance of hoping to find one in. You know what I mean? It's just like, I guess, the game of basketball. I know there's obviously 3-second violations and things like that, but, you have all the outside jumpers and you need those, but, you win with the guys in the paint that are there, burying the tough shots, putting back rebounds, doing things like that. So it's a similar thing. Get into the house, get inside the dots, and, and there's certain players that will go in there, certain players that won't, and, Mitch is definitely one of those guys that's willing to go to the dirty areas.
Wonderful. Mitch, how satisfying is it when you can go in front of the net and just, I don't want to use bad language, but really make the defender mad? I mean, is that part of your game to try and get the defender off his game by being more physical and basically knowing every time you go up against that guy that you're going to manhandle him? Do you get satisfaction out of that?
I definitely get satisfaction. If you watch me play, I'm always smiling. I think it's fun messing with the other team. They get so mad, and I'm just out there having a good time, but also still focused on what I'm trying to do, and it's definitely pretty satisfying getting there. And every time they're going, oh, geez, this kid's back again, face down, pushing our goalie around and stuff like that.
I like you, Mitchell, because that reminds me of when I played soccer more than hockey. Coach knows my story. Not going to get into that one. But as a soccer player, I was the same way. Big smile on my face, just knowing me stepping on the pitch and going next to a guy made him so mad. That, to me, I already won. And then I just played more physical. It was great. I laughed about it like you did. So I like that. But you know what, guys? This weekend, big games against Aston. Coach, you and I will get together next Tuesday, talk it up. Hopefully we're talking about a few more wins and closing the gap on Aston. Mitchell, good luck this weekend, bud. Thanks for joining me on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Coach, I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure to welcome in Mike Gosnell, Communications Manager of the Johnstown Tomahawks. Mike had a great conversation with Mitchell and Coach here a little bit ago, and now glad to have you on the show. Season's winding down. Long season. Seems like just yesterday the puck was dropped at the renovated War Memorial, but now the regular season coming to an end, and then a lot of playoff hockey, hopefully, all the way into May. That's the goal. So as we get to the end of the season, you know, we have a big series this weekend coming up against Aston. I'm going to just get right to it. What's going on this weekend at the War Memorial?
Well, like you said, a big weekend at Aston, or here against Aston, I should say. It's our Irish weekend, Green Out weekend, presented by the Holiday Inn. This is my favorite time of year. I'm not quite sure why, but I just love the Irish type of stuff. And we're going to be wearing specialty green jerseys with some orange and white for the Ireland flag. And overall, really, it's going to be a big series. I mean, this is one of our bitter rivals, Aston. They've been a thorn in our side all year. They've gotten the better of us sometimes, but I think they have a receipt coming this weekend. So I think it's going to be a pretty good weekend for hockey, lots of physicality. And whenever the Johnstown Tomahawks and Aston Rebels lock horns, it's bound to be an entertaining game. So wear your green, dye your hair green, because we have a couple fans I know they're going to be doing that. Come as a leprechaun, be green this weekend.
Be green, and I know you had mentioned this on prior shows. You guys are daunting some new jerseys this weekend. Is that correct?
Yes, we are. Like I said earlier, we are adopting some Irish-themed jerseys, much like last year. Fans can actually bid on those jerseys by downloading the Dash Auction app. That's DASH. It's a free app. Basically, what you can do is you can bid anonymously via that app with a credit card, and you can bid up until the end of the game on Saturday. We're running them both nights. So if you want to get your hands on one of them, I don't blame you. They're very nice. So just download that app. You can go to your App Store or Google Play Store if you're an Android user. It's 100% free, and our auction will be beginning, I believe, early Friday, and then including after the game on Saturday.
Now, are those the actual worn game jerseys, Mike, or are those just game jerseys that you guys are auctioning off?
Those are the actual game-worn jerseys.
So, unfortunately, there's probably not a jersey for Phillips Bunches, is there?
100% there is. Unfortunately, Phillips is not unfortunately, I should say. Fortunately for Phillips, I do.
You know what?
He's been in the news lately.
Let you go into that one.
Well, Phillips has been in the news lately. Phillips will not be in our lineup for the next 3 weeks. He will be in his home country, Latvia, competing for the World Championship roster spot. Basically, what the World Championships are is a big conglomeration of the best players in the world, including NHLers. So it's a big honor for our organization and for Phillips to have him competing for a spot. He'll be playing against NHLers if he hopefully makes it. But getting to more of the point you're trying to drive home, Phillips committed to Arizona State over the weekend, a burgeoning program. They're brand new to Division I hockey. So he's going to help build the tradition up at Arizona State. They have a hell of a class coming in this year. Vito Janssens and Dom Garcia from the Aston Rebels are actually going to Arizona State next year, and Phillips will be joining them next year. So Phillips had one more year of junior eligibility, decided to forego that and go to college, and I think that's probably a good decision. I think he accomplished a lot here. We're very proud of what he accomplished, and we're looking forward to watching him at ASU.
Mike, I want to bring this up for the fans that are out there listening, and we talk about the success on the ice. We talk about wins and losses. I talk to Coach every week about what the guys are doing in playoff hockey coming up. And, yeah, you want to win. You want to win the Robertson Cup. That is the goal. You want to bring a championship home. But at the end of the day, when all is said and done with this league and what the Johnstown Tomahawks are doing, it's development of players and allowing them to become better hockey players and better people. And that's what Phillips has now accomplished. He has a Division I college scholarship. He's able to go on, continue his education, continue playing hockey, and bring the things that he learned from Johnstown out to Arizona. How important is it for the organization to be able to get, and I call this a huge win, to send a player to a program, Division I caliber program, and not everyone can go Division I, we know that, but for Johnstown as an organization, how important is it to be able to send players off to the next phase of their career in life?
Well, that's the name of the game for our organization. Yeah, you know, wins and losses do matter, but at the end of the day, the stock in our organization is if we're doing our jobs, which is moving kids on to Division I and Division III hockey. There's no winners and losers if you commit. So we're very happy for Phillips. I firmly believe Phillips could have played anywhere he wanted to. And I'm going to go out on a limb, maybe not so much out on a limb because I'm very confident in this prediction. I think we're going to see him in the pro ranks someday. And I think he could make the NHL. And I firmly believe in Phillips, and I think he has that talent and the work ethic to do it. We've been very fortunate to have some great players come along. Casey Nelson, our first NHL player, playing in the Buffalo Sabres organization. But I think, you know, a player like Phillips has made an indelible mark on our franchise. He's a fan favorite here, and I think he's going to be remembered for years to come for putting on a Johnstown sweater. But anytime one of our players, Dalton Hunter earlier this year committed to Mercyhurst, that's another big deal for us. They're all big deals, and it's the name of the game in this league for any other organization. If nothing, you have to commit yourself to moving kids on and providing them the opportunity, the tools necessary to get a college scholarship, because it's their education and it's their life on the line. It's their life, you know, in our hands. So it's a great thing when we can move on.
Yeah, and I was a college athlete. I played Division III, and I went through that recruiting process. I chose my school based on the ability for me to play immediately. I redshirted 1 year and started for 4. I could have went to a D1 program, and I know Coach and I have talked about this many times, that you have to find the right fit for you, and what are you looking for in a school. I wanted to play. I didn't want to sit on the bench for 3 years and be a 1-year starter, and that's what I would have been had I went Division I. I wanted to go play Division III, and I know some of the guys at Johnstown, Coach does a really good job of really educating them as to what their goals are. And can you just give the fans a little more insight? Because not everyone's going Division I. That's great when we have the Division I commitment. But some of these guys, you know, their hockey skills are very good, but they might be better suited. And a number of guys will go play Division III hockey or NAIA hockey. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, again, it's moving these players along to allow them to be student athletes at the next level, correct?
Right, and you know, it's nice to commit D1, but you know, if D3 offers you a better fit for you, like you said, Troy, then really that's the route you should take. It's any time a player commits to any level of play, we're really excited and we're really proud of them. We've moved a lot of kids on to Division III hockey that are 20, 30 goal scorers. So, and they have just about as good a shot at making the NHL as anybody else. You know, it all depends how you work hard, how much you work hard, and your determination. So.
Yeah, and I know,
anytime we can do it.
Yeah, like I said, Mike, that was a long conversation, maybe one of the first 2 shows that Coach and I had, and it's, you know, there's sometimes where, you know, you make the most of the opportunity that you get, and if your opportunity is to go play at Division III, I mean, as a player, your level of play is going to be the same. Can you get better and can you move forward? So, you know, those are some things that you really got to think about when that happens. But, you know, Mike, as we move forward, what is going on from your standpoint as you get ready for the playoffs here? I know that the playoffs are solidified. Haven't quite clinched home ice in the first round, but what's going on in the organization as you prepare for the playoffs?
Well, we're going to be announcing a few things such as playoff tickets availability. That'll be coming up very shortly, as well as 2017-18 season ticket renewals. That news will be out. I would think shortly as well. So we're just preparing for whatever, the team decides to do for us. I mean, they really came through last weekend in New Jersey, getting 2 of 3. We really have the destiny in our hands as far as if we're going to play in the first round at home or go on the road. I think either way, I have full confidence in our team, but we're just preparing for either scenario.
Wonderful. As always, Mike, a pleasure to have you on the show. You and I will chat next week.
Sounds good. I hope we can continue chatting into May because I want to spend early May in Minnesota. So
yeah, and hopefully it's not snowing in May.
Well, it's snowing here, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got teased a little bit, 70-degree weather. Now we're gonna get inches upon inches of snow. But yeah, I hope we can continue this for more than a month. That would be great. The more times we talk, that means the team is doing well. So yeah, hopefully we're talking all the way up until that May 11th through the 14th is the Cup game. So hopefully we're talking, and then we're talking right after that, talking about a championship team in Johnstown. So with that, Mike, I'll get back with you next week, buddy.
Sounds good. Thank you, Troy. Have a good day.